Financial Times today reporting that SoftBank's Masayoshi Son has proposed creating a joint U.S.-Japan sovereign wealth fund to invest in technology. Deirdre Bosa, I don't know a whole lot, but I do know if Masayoshi Son, Japan, and the U.S. created a fund, it's probably going to be really big.
Yeah, I mean, Masayoshi Son doesn't do anything small, and this is extremely ambitious, too, right? It's unusual, a sovereign wealth fund that involves two nations. A little bit defeats the purpose, but that is Masa Son for you, and it really brings up this broader topic of sovereign AI. Jensen Huang, he has compared sovereign AI to every country having their own telcos and banks. He argues that they're going to have their own AI infrastructure, too. And that is what a joint sovereign wealth fund would essentially represent, a coalition of nations betting big on building their own AI stacks rather than renting from Silicon Valley. Now, it feeds into a larger trend that is very much underway already, the rise of sovereign AI. From Saudi Arabia to the UAE, nations, they're in a race to lock in access to American GPUs. Melius made this their AI chart of the week. Recent sovereign-led AI infrastructure announcements measured in gigawatts of AI compute. Now, together, they represent more than $500 billion in total addressable market. Much of that presumably going to NVIDIA, which Melius says proves that sovereign AI has risen from the ashes of the Biden AI diffusion rule. That was a policy aimed at slowing the global spread of advanced chips. Now, under Trump, the opposite has happened. That caution has turned to acceleration. Countries are now racing to scale up and buy in. The policy, though, it also comes with risk. NVIDIA's customer base, it's shifting from big tech to nation states, bigger orders, but also pulling NVIDIA deeper into geopolitics, and we've seen how that's went in China. It can either be a massive tailwind or a massive liability, Brian. So this is a major shift, certainly one keeping an eye on, and an open question when it comes to earnings tomorrow.
Well, it's also
how much are they going to get from policy versus demand?
Well, fair, but there's also a question of whether or not this actually happens, right? So if Deirdre Bosa had to lay odds, we're not holding you to it. I mean, it's only like international TV right now that everybody's listening to. But what would be the odds of this actually occurring?
Okay. So I was talking to a source this morning who did throw some cold water on this idea of a joint sovereign wealth fund. But what I'm going to argue and why this story is worth keeping an eye on is that this is already happening. Whether or not you have a joint sovereign wealth fund to do so, that chart I showed you from Melius tells you that countries are doing this on their own already, and that is worth $500 billion. So it doesn't really matter if Japan is going to do it with the U.S., if it's going to be backed by SoftBank. Masayoshi Son has already been talking about this. And if every country is going to have their own AI infrastructure, just like they have their own telcos, that is a massive opportunity that we're already seeing come to fruition. They want to lock in access to those chips. So it doesn't really matter. Sovereign wealth fund, secondary, it's already happening.
But a little bit of San Francisco Bay behind you, cold water being thrown on this. We'll see if the great whites come with it. Deirdre Bosa, thank you very much.